Hello everyone, welcome back to Tali's Kitchen, and today we're going to be making this decadent chocolate raspberry cake. Now this turned out absolutely fantastic. It is made up of a rich chocolate fudge cake, perfect chocolate ganache, some fruits on the top, and a beautiful and absolutely delicious raspberry filling at the center. This was absolutely delicious. Now in this video I'm going to take you through the step by step to create everything from the chocolate cake to the beautiful ganache to the beautiful raspberry filling at the look at that. I will take you through all that and you will have an absolutely delicious cake if you do choose to try out this recipe, because one of the things as well, it's really simple and it's just so delicious, and you can bake a really fast delicious cake for a birthday, just to have it in your fridge and enjoy for a period of time. It is really simple. So without any further ado, let's learn how to get this done. So first off, here we're going to start with making our chocolate cake, and I'm going to be doing 1 cup of granulated sugar. Next up, I'm going to be doing 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and then a half a cup of unsweetened chocolate powder, and then we'll just go in with a whisk and mix everything to combine. So I'm going to add on a few more dry ingredients here. Go ahead and add a half a teaspoon of baking soda and 1 teaspoon of baking powder and a pinch of salt, and then just mix everything to combine before we begin adding our wet ingredients. Number 1 in our wet ingredients list is 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence, 1 egg. I threw in a shell in there, so I had to pick it up, a half a cup of buttermilk, and then just go ahead and mix everything to combine. Then I'm going to be adding here a quarter cup of vegetable cooking oil, and just going with your whisk as well. When you combine your cake batter, when it's a bit heavy, you can easily get rid of the lumps, so I do encourage going on as you mix your batter. And then lastly, I'll be doing here a half a cup of hot coffee, and then now we are done. Wasn't that fast? Yes, it was. Our cake batter is now ready, and I'm going to start preparing my baking tin. So for my baking tin here, I did line up my tin with some parchment paper at the bottom. I rubbed on some butter on the side and dusted it with flour. Just to mention, I did end up changing my baking tin because I felt it was a bit shallow and the cake won't rise properly. So make sure you use a deep enough tin. So this is going to go in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 to 35 minutes, and do make sure you tap it on the counter to remove any air bubbles. So next up here, we're going to start preparing our chocolate ganache, and I'm using here 1 cup of dark chocolate, 1 tablespoon of butter, and 1 cup of warm whipping cream. And I'm just going to let this sit for a while before I begin mixing it. And remember, what you're trying to achieve here is a really nice smooth ganache, so do take your time as you mix in your whipping cream, your butter, and your chocolate. Now once everything is nicely combined like so, we're going to pop this in the fridge for about 1 to 2 hours so that it can set. But before you do that, do ensure you cover it with some cling film, and then into the fridge it goes. Now my cake is ready here, and I'm using a toothpick to just confirm it's fully cooked on the inside, and it is. So we're good to go. Put it on a cooling rack so that it can cool, and as this is cooling down, we're going to start preparing our raspberry filling, which is really simple to make as well. So let's get to it. So I'm using here a half a cup of raspberries, and then I'm doing an 1/8 cup of granulated sugar. Next up, I'm going to be using the juice from just 1 lime, and that's it. That's all you need to create a really delicious raspberry filling. So we're going to be cooking this on medium heat until everything is nicely combined. Now the raspberries are going to start breaking down at this point, but you can still use your spatula to try and just press them down. If you do fear that the sugar will dry up quickly, just add in a little bit of water and then just cook this until it's nice and ready. this looks beautiful, doesn't it? And this is basically ready at this point, so I'm just going to switch off my heat and I'm going to let this cool down, and then we'll check on our ganache. Maybe just one last tip: when you're making this type of a chocolate cake, I would advise, if you can make your cake a day before and just pop it in the fridge so that it can cool down completely, or once it's cooled down a bit, just go back and pop it in the fridge for a few hours. So my chocolate ganache is ready, and we're going to start decorating our cake at this point. Just to mention, I did add 1 cup of powdered sugar to my ganache because I wanted it to be a bit thick, and I did cut my cake into 2, which was not my initial plan, but my ganache was quite a lot, and I figured I can actually do layers for this cake. That was not the initial plan, but the ganache was enough, so I decided to cut my cake into 2, and then what you're now going to do is gently and slowly spread your first layer of ganache on the first half of your cake. It's really nice, simple, and actually soothing as well, so do take your time here because it's actually a lot of fun. So I'm going to try and create a sort of ridge on the edge because I want to be able to put my raspberry filling at the center without it having to spread out to the other side. So you can see that's the raspberry filling right there, and I'm just going to I'm actually going to put all of it at the center. Just to mention, this raspberry filling tasted so good, to be honest. I figured it could actually be raspberry jam as well. I think I'll do a separate video for raspberry jam very soon. So you can use your spoon to spread out your raspberry filling, and do not restrict yourself to putting your raspberry filling just at the center. If you want to have the filling throughout the cake, feel free to go ahead and do that, but I just wanted to have mine at the center. So this is good, and I'm going to now bring in the other half of my cake, and we're going to do the same. Add a generous amount of chocolate ganache, and then just use your spatula to spread it around. Doesn't that look very therapeutic? Actually, I really think it does. So do take your time at this point, and I still had enough chocolate ganache to do the sides as well. So this amount of chocolate ganache is really generous, and like I said, I did add 1 cup of powdered sugar to the chocolate ganache because I wanted it to be a bit heavier than it was. So do make sure you add that if that's what you want to achieve as well. I'm basically done in terms of covering my cake. I am not a professional at cake decorating, so if you are a professional, then yeah, you can do an almost A+ job. But if you're like me and you're just you're not really a professional and you're just looking to make a delicious homemade cake, then this is good enough, but don't worry, we'll make it better. So I'm using a spoon here to achieve the twirls on the side, and I did end up changing this to just spoon strokes because I thought it looked a little messy, but it still looked good, to be honest. So I did change it to just strokes using the same spoon. So you can design this as whichever way you want, and do make sure you clean out the sides of your plates. And as much as we're not professionals here, let's try and be as neat as possible. To decorate my cake, I'm just using the fruits that I have. I have some strawberries and some raspberries, which I'm just going to arrange on the side of the cake. You can decorate your cake however you want. You can use desiccated coconut, you can use whichever fruit you have. At this point, make your cake as beautiful as you want it to be. I did use the spoon to create some twirls on the top as well because I did feel like it was a little too flat. So if you do want to achieve a better look for the top of your cake, then go ahead and use a spoon to just create some twirls on top as well. It gave it a better look. You'll see it at the end, but I didn't manage to capture that part on video. And our cake is basically done, guys. This cake is as beautifully as done, and I want to believe that was a really easy, simple recipe. Can you imagine you can have this type of a cake at home made by yourself? Honestly, it is absolutely fantastic, and it tasted absolutely amazing. You can see the beautiful raspberry filling at the center. You can see how beautiful and silky the chocolate ganache is. This cake is everything. It is an absolutely rich cake in flavor as well, because we've used all the authentic ingredients in making this cake. So do make sure to try out this recipe, and do let me know how it goes in the comment sections below. Consider subscribing, liking and sharing the video, and I will see you all next time with another amazing recipe. For now, bye bye.